Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, this is going to be a bit of a different video. Before I get into anything, I want to say I am pretty sick right now. I feel like absolute shit, but please don't let that deter you from the fact that I am going to be reviewing the new Merchant Ships vinyl compilation, I Want to Remember. So if you guys have been around in this channel for a while, you know that I used to do vinyl reviews, CD updates, vinyl collection updates pretty frequently.
Why are you putting Thriller at number 4? Thriller is the best music video of all time.
Oh my god! Oh! And since I stopped making those videos, my collection has honestly continued to grow, like, way bigger than it ever has. And with me getting into so many bands, I try my best to get as much of their music on vinyl as I can. And specifically when it comes to Merchant Ships, when they announced that their music was going to be pressed on vinyl for the first time, I was extremely excited, and I pre-ordered it almost immediately. So basically what this compilation is it's a collection of pretty much every Merchant Ship song from all their EPs, demos, whatever the hell you want to call it. The only song that's missing is Something Paul Revere. There's also the Dying demo and some other live tracks. But in terms of solely original music, the only song you're missing from this compilation is Something Paul Revere, which is fine. That's easily their weakest original track. So I'm fine with that one being taken off of here. Everything else is on here. That's fine. And I think besides from a very small release of For Cameron on Count Your Lucky Stars back when that came out, there hasn't been a vinyl release of any of their music since then. Specifically the older stuff, like I Want to Forget Everything and Bummer Times demo, like none of that stuff has ever been put on vinyl in any capacity. So this is the first time that any of that stuff has been put on here, and yeah, I'm just going to give you an overall review of the vinyl, how I feel about the overall release, and some things that I would like to improve on, and some things that I think could not be improved on, that I think were done immaculately. So I'm going to have, like, footage overlaid, so here's me waving, showing you the vinyl, all the goodies. I'm going to kind of overlay some footage here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So firstly, I want to talk about the cover. So I really like the color scheme they went with for the vinyl reissue. It's a very screamo color to choose, because if you know your scrams and your screamo, you know, a lot of bands would make their own CDs back in the day, and they would use like cardboard or like cardstock paper to make like the cases and shit. And I'll put some up on the screen, some iconic ones, but it's very notorious in like the screamo scrams world. And so I don't know if they intentionally chose this color as like an homage to those bands, or if it was just like a stylistic choice that had nothing to do with that. But either way, it really fits in with all of those albums, and I think it was a perfect choice for the cover in terms of a color scheme. And I also really like the picture on the front. The band van parked out in the snow. I think it's a really cool pic, like what they did with that. Flipping it over to the back, you get all the track names. One thing that they did on this release that was kind of interesting was they shortened some of the track names, the most notable ones being The Party Song, which was originally called The First Time I Got Fucked Up, was to The Party Song by Blink-182. And Long Term, which was shortened from Long Term Relationships Were Only Cool When Divorce Wasn't. There's a few other ones that are shortened on here, but those are the bigger ones. I'm not sure why they did this. Maybe it's because they wanted to make the back of the vinyl look cleaner, but it's also the same on the streaming version of this compilation, so I'm not sure why they did that, but I would like to know the reasoning. And what I really like on this compilation is that all the releases are kind of separated on their own. So you get the Lolcats demo, the 2 songs from Lolcats that are on here, along with I Want to Forget Everything Bad as well on one side. And on the second side, you get the Bummer Times demo in its entirety, along with Old Grey and If a Bear's Hungry, He Will Eat. So you get kind of like both eras on each side, along with their respective EPs and all that. But eras, I should say. It's pretty much one big era. They were putting out music like crazy back in the day. And then the whole second disc of the vinyl is For Cameron, their EP, their most iconic release, which is a really cool touch. I like that they made For Cameron its entire second side of the compilation. I thought that was a cool idea. It's nice because sometimes I feel like just putting on For Cameron. If I want to listen to For Cameron on vinyl, I could just do that by putting on the second disc of the vinyl. I think that's super cool. Opening up the gatefold, it looks absolutely fantastic. First of all the graphic design, whoever did this graphic design did a great job. But on the left panel of the gatefold, we have a excerpt from Cameron Shiflett, who was a part of the band Sleep Patterns, who was on the cover of For Cameron. Very important to the Merchant Ships lore. He wrote out a big paragraph here. I'll show you the paragraph. I'm not going to read it, but I'll show you the paragraphs and all the cool stuff that he wrote on here, and you can read it if you would like. But it's very, very well done, and it's a nice addition to this release. And we also get an old shot of the band members here. I love this photo. I think it's super cool. And then we get to the actual vinyl. So I think from what I remember, there were 4 different variations, colorways for the vinyl. There was obviously the standard black, which had the most pressings. And then there was a red pressing, I think a green pressing, and a custard pressing, custard color pressing. And I ended up getting the custard one. And I have to say the custard pressing was easily the way to go, in my opinion, when it came down to the colorways. I thought all the other colorways looked super good, but me personally, I just think the custard really adds to just the continuity of the dark brown on the album cover. And the pressing I have, I don't know if it's like this with y'all, if y'all have the custard version or not, but there's like little red streaks in it, and it looks super cool. So if you have the custard edition of this record, the colorway, definitely let me know if there's red in there. I'd be very curious to know. The last thing included in here is a lyric sheet. So there is an insert in the second pocket of the vinyl that has all the lyrics on it. Really, really cool. I will say, though, the lyrics don't seem to go past sleep patterns. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but there are no lyrics for Good Weekend or Something That Matters on the lyric sheet, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they just ran out of space and couldn't fit them. But I just find that to be really interesting. And it's kind of lame because Something That Matters is like one of my favorite songs of all time. So no lyrics on there. It kind of sucks. You can't find them online, but those are the only 2 songs that don't have lyrics in the insert. So I found that to be kind of interesting. But there are some cool pictures on the insert, so I think that makes up for it. And finally, the cap of this review, how does the vinyl sound? How does the music on this pressing sound? Is it a good press? And I have to say, it's very split down the middle, kinda. I'm going to explain why. None of the songs sound bad. I will say right off the jump. None of the songs sound bad. They all sound fantastic. All the EPs, every single track, you were getting what you paid for. They sound fantastic. But the nuances is what I want to talk about here a little bit. The early Merchant Ship stuff, specifically, I Want to Forget Everything Bad and Bummer Times, the first disc of this compilation. These recordings sound incredible on this vinyl. They sound absolutely amazing. This vinyl pressing is easily the best way to listen to all the early Merchant Ship stuff. I think all that stuff sounded absolutely incredible on vinyl. Before Cameron just didn't really strike me as all that special in terms of the sound quality. It sounded very good on vinyl, but it sounds very similar to the streaming version. Whereas the first disc kind of sounded like it was remastered or remixed for vinyl. I doubt that was the case. They probably just slapped the tracks on the vinyl and called it a day, but with how low fidelity the recordings already are, the vinyl pressing really brought new life into them, and it didn't really do the same thing for 4 Cameron, but 4 Cameron is definitely the least low fidelity of all the recordings. It has just a little bit more production value in it, so maybe they just didn't feel the need to do that if they did go back and remix and remaster and all that stuff, but... from me listening to this on vinyl, I've only listened to the vinyl once. I listened to it the day I got it. The early stuff, the first disc, sides A and B, sounded incredible. Easily the best recordings, versions, whatever you call them, of the songs I've ever heard. And then For Cameron just kind of sounded the same as it did on streaming. But overall, no matter the sound quality, no matter what you get in the vinyl extra stuff, little goodies, whatever, I think this is an incredible release and very long overdue. Merchant Ships has only gotten bigger since they've broken up, and I think they're really at their peak of popularity currently. So it's really cool that we finally get a chance to listen to their music on vinyl. It's really, really awesome. They've been one of my favorite bands for a while now, and For Cameron has just constantly been in my rotation for forever. So I love these guys to death, and I think it's super cool that this compilation's out there now, and you can grab one. I love it. I didn't pre-order it like on day one for nothing. So, very good release. And if you get the chance, I would absolutely recommend that you grab it. I don't know what the resale prices are going to go for. I don't know if it's still in stock right now. I don't really know what's going on with that. I know that they did like a merch line along with the vinyl, and that's like long gone now. So I don't know the same thing if that's the case with the vinyl still. I'm not entirely sure about that, but when it comes down to it, if you want to get it, find a way to get it. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know what avenues you'll have to go to get the vinyl, but definitely try your best and get it if you love Merchant Ships. This shit's fucking great. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you for watching this. A little bit of a different video today, but I just really wanted to talk about this. I was excited about it. So, yeah, that's it. See ya.